You have an increasingly unique perspective in that you have been following and have known Ara for now 4.5 decades. You were on campus the last 3 years of his outstanding career. So just what thoughts do you have today after his passing?
Well, he was so synonymous with the place. I mean, yes, there were a whole host of people you knew at the university, but it was Father Ted and Ara. They personified the university when I was here, and he was such a commanding presence, and he was around, and you saw him frequently, and just had an impact. A small story, but one of the things I used to do annually was sleep out overnight for hockey tickets. I was a fan of our hockey program, and we'd sleep outside the Joyce Center to get the center ice top row tickets. And we were doing that at about 5 o'clock in the morning. Car drives up, headlights shine up on us, and out gets Ara. Ara gets out of his car and looks at us and says, "What are you guys doing?" So, "Coach, we're sleeping outside for hockey tickets." He walked past us for a while, turned back, and looked at us and said, "Why?" Because, of course, if we'd showed up at 9 o'clock, we would have been first in line, too. It was, we stumped him with that one.
As a student during his glory years and his last years, what impact did he have on campus beyond, and not to diminish it, but beyond just being the football coach and a successful one, but what impact did he have on the overall student body?
Well, he set the tone for the department and for everything about Notre Dame athletics. He set the standard, he set the tone the way it would be. And we had a lot of success. And as a student, you understood that success was derivative of your most prominent coach and the most prominent member of the athletic department. So he certainly had that impact. He represented the university so well externally that you took real pride in that as a student. That, you know, he and Father Ted, again, both sort of the two most notable people at the time, externally represented the place so effectively.
I mean, when you look at his career, he's one of the greatest football coaches anywhere, ever, period. But he combined that greatness, and he carried that greatness with him every day with a humility that is unusual in someone who has accomplished so much. How do you think he pulled that off?
You know, as I have read about him, both previously, but in the last month, I've spent time trying to get to understand his history a little bit more clearly. A lot of that is his family and the values that they represented and encompassed. The way in which his father and mother became engaged. You know, the roots of fleeing Europe during a very difficult time. I mean, all of that. He always had a much bigger perspective than just the game he was a master of. And of course, that was never more evident than in his taking on another battle after he was done coaching to find a cure for Niemann Pick. And we honored him once many years ago at a function in Indianapolis. And I was talking to him, and I said, it's so remarkable what you have done. And he said, the only thing that would have been remarkable is if I hadn't done it. He said, this is what a grandfather ought to do. And that speaks to me of Ara. I mean, he was not a champion in any one segment of his life, and others weren't quite up to par. He was a champion football coach. He was a champion family man. He was a champion crusader to cure an insidious disease. And he was a regular guy. He was accessible.
What will his continuing legacy and impact be at Notre Dame?
Well, it's his standard. It's his ability to meld representing this unique place with high standards, but also competing at the highest level nationally. The two are not inconsistent. And Ara will always stand for, in a very special way, being a beacon of that dynamic. You can do both. We have done both, and we'll do both again. And I think that's so important. For those of us who got to spend some time with him in recent years, you know, there'll be individual moments and memories, counsel that he provided. But, you know, of all the times I talked to him, never once did he initiate it. He was always available. He never said no, but he would never think to impose himself. Not that he would ever be an imposition. it's that humility to which you referred.